Alrighty. Our next speaker is named David, and he reached out to me over the weekend via Instagram. Here we go. He wrote a little statement for us.
Yeah, David!
Woo! Howdy. Is that too loud?
You're good.
Hi, my name is David, and I am tired. Today I read through H7539, one of the bills we're fighting against today, and I am distraught. I am afraid. But boiling on top of all of that, more than anything else, I am angry, and I'll tell you why. Patricia Morgan introduced these bills to our state, and if there's one thing that's really easy to learn about her from her writing is that she is a coward. The content of this bill is absolutely baffling. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, you're doing great.
Thank you. Patricia Morgan vacillates wildly between relatively reasonable educational demands and outright racism and complete erasure of minority groups. But that's her point. She's trying to hide her tricks in between the lines. So when her colleagues skim through the bill, because you know that's all the attention they're going to pay to it, they miss what's really going on. She never intended to face up to what she's really doing, and she never intended to come face to face with us, who this legislation actually affects. But today I say we are here. We are here and we are going to be heard. And if you can't hear us, Patricia Morgan, then be a better listener or get the hell out of office. A good example of this bill's spinelessness goes like this. Quote, racial slurs or terms that describe race, ethnicity, gender, or religion in a pejorative context shall not be presented or used in schools. Sounds great, right? The very next line is, examples of prohibited terms include supremacy, racial guilt, racial fragility, and other racial slurs. I want you to consider the idea of quote-unquote prohibited terms like that from history classrooms. Oh my God. Erasing history doesn't make conservatives impervious to it, and right now we know what side of history they stand on. I'd like to read you some more bits of this bill that stuck with me. Quote, no exclusive focus or centering of curricula on the history, literature, current events, or cultural contributions of individual identity groups shall be permitted. Identity groups is a funny phrase because you know she means marginalized people, queer people, people of color, people whose rich histories and literature already is barely being taught. But she weasels around it again and again. And she's presenting these ideas as if they're on par with sensible curriculum decisions like teaching about dating violence, which is listed in the same bill. These are the same tired, exploitative tactics that have been used to drive the knife into our communities since day one. She also says, quote, schools shall not use curriculum that pursues a predominantly electioneering, nope, I skipped a line. Schools shall not use curriculum that pursues a predominantly ideological and or activist outcome. Educational staff are prohibited from electioneering, pursuing activism, or advocating for specific political beliefs and candidates. No visual materials, such as banners, posters, or handouts promoting racial advocacy shall be allowed in a school setting. Let that sink in. Quote, values, psychological and medical counseling, and political activism shall not be taught in classrooms or in any school setting. Quote, sex education shall not explore sexual preference, gender dysphoria, or sexual lifestyles. Quote, children shall be addressed using their common names and the pronouns associated with their biological gender unless parental or guardian permission is otherwise obtained. I feel sick at the idea of her insidious words leaving my mouth. Patricia Morgan and those like her are too cowardly to admit that they have the blood of young trans people on their hands. This is our blood with which they are tending their fires. But I want to tell you something. Seeing you all here today gives me so much hope. Because you wouldn't be here if you didn't think you could affect change. And you did, by showing up by being heard, by being seen in this city. You are changing the course of history. This bill and any other bad actors like it will not pass. Not if we have anything to say about it. When you go home today, I want you to write to your senator and your representative. Send them an email. Tell all of your friends to write to them too. Do whatever you can to get in touch with them and tell them that there is no place for this kind of legislation. Tell them how the proposed changes would affect you, and tell them that they have a responsibility to protect you, because they do. And if you can vote, then I entreat you. Vote Patricia Morgan the fuck out of office, and all others like her. There is no place for her either, in a world brimming with the life and the joys of people like us. Thank you.